Hey, you. Yeah, you. Wake up. The morning show's about to start.
Drink Aid, ready for distribution worldwide.
What's up, everybody? Hello and good morning. This is Good Morning with Mike City First. I'm your host, Michael Carbellis, as always. And since this show is brought to you proudly by Drink Aid, you can eliminate hangovers today and get the boost of energy and confidence you need with Drink Aid. Here is what you might have missed if you were partying too hard or whatever you were doing. Chadwick Boseman has died at 43 after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. He played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, and more importantly, the Black Panther. Novak Djokovic is leading some men to form Professional Tennis Players Association. A quote to a news reporter said, "This is the right and only move. ATP has exploited us for too long. Only people against us are the top guys. Selfish by them." Anthony Davis became the second Laker since Shaq in 2002 to score 40 plus in a playoff game. The other is Kobe, and I'm not crying, you are. I want to get into this because this next topic because I've kind of been a little bit vocal on Twitter about this. So basically on Thursday when I was off, which is ironic and awesome, right? So basically, I I was watching about to watch the NBA, and as we know what happened Thursday. Well, Wednesday, basically earlier this week, there was a police shooting of a guy named Jacob Blake, a black man, and say what you will, whatever. I'm not even going to get to the political side of that. The fact is, players protested. They protested, and I'm not sure what to think. Because these same players that protested, I have a question for you. Were you thinking it was never going to happen again? You signed up despite what Kyrie Irving said. You did these things. You joined this bubble despite the virus, despite the police brutality. And yet you protest. I will say it once and I'll say it again, and hopefully I don't have to keep repeating myself. If I myself was some old racist white guy, I promise you, protesting does nothing but make me angry or at you. It does not change a racist mind. Keeping the conversation going, listen, somebody made a great point on Twitter. The NBA audience doesn't have a problem with that stuff. So what is the point? The closest thing I could find to a sense of solidarity in my mind was what Shannon Sharp said via Undisputed. Shannon Sharp, he has a show with Skip Bayless at 9:30 a.m. on FS1 Monday through Friday. I'm doing promoting for him now. I'm literally wondering about this, but he said a great thing about this. Shannon Sharp said that it got the conversation back going. That is the only thing I can think of. The conversation kept going. Again, I'm not so sure what that means for a racist person. One, they're probably not watching the NBA anyways. And two, they're not going to change their minds. It's like kneeling during the national anthem. I don't care what you do during the national anthem. I personally stand with, I don't even put my hand over my heart. It's my personal beliefs. But doing all these protests, I'm like, that sounds wonderful. It keeps the conversation going. But what are we changing here? I don't see much changing at all. But again, players went into this bubble knowing good and well what was going on in life. And they decided to protest. I wasn't sure why. I'm also not sure why people got onto the hockey players for not doing so. It's like, what does hockey got to do with this stuff? Now, hockey, granted, might have a bigger audience than the NBA does in terms of racism. I'm not saying hockey fans are racist. I'm saying there's more chances because hockey fans are a lot of times light-skinned compared to NBA fans. I'm just saying. Oh, and I got a haircut. That's another thing you might have missed. Okay. Let's go ahead and get it on the road. Here are our topics today, presented by MyBookie. It is easy like Sunday morning, baby. Our topics presented by MyBookie. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are locked in. Luka Legend. I missed Tuesday's show. I'm definitely going to give you my brains on what I think about the Mavericks Game 4, and then, of course, Game 5 when the Clippers just blew them out anyways. But I have a point with that. You're going to want to hear it. Bucks versus the Heat. Is there a chance the Heat, my Miami Heat, upset the Bucks? I'm going to do my best not to be biased. What is the impact of Russell Westbrook that I've been chiming all year long? And, of course, NFL fantasy. And if you guys are wondering why I look down on my phone sometimes because I'm doing a Yahoo fantasy draft. And right now my team is Lamar Jackson, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Cam Akers, Travis Kelce, and DK Metcalf. I think I'm doing pretty good so far, honestly. But let's go and get started with the Lakers. Oh, man. So I'll be fair with you guys. I personally did not watch any games yesterday, and I was so mad. So the what you missed portion of the show was for me as well. I was not happy that I had to work, but I work for retail. Again, it's not the best schedule in the world. It's very inconsistent. So if you know what I'm talking about, thank you. If you don't, just bear with me here. But all you need to know is that the Lakers beat the Blazers, who, of course, did not have Damian Lillard. He had to leave the bubble officially because of his knee injury, and I kind of figured that was the case. When I saw him come up limping in game, 4? I didn't think he was going to return to the series. I mean, it looked bad. It was just like a kind of a little non-contact thing. It wasn't anything special. Those are usually the worst ones. I'm not saying he has any ligament damage. I have no idea. But he didn't look too great. And there was just no way he was going to return to the Game 5. Of course, he didn't. Anthony Davis scored 43. LeBron James scored 36-point triple-double. Not that would have stopped. Not that Damian Lillard playing would have stopped anybody. But I'm just saying. C.J. McCollum did have 36, and Carmelo Anthony had like 20-something, which is impressive. I think people owe a lot of respect, a lot of payback for Carmelo Anthony. He deserves an apology. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, they're locked in completely. It is unbelievable what they have done. Their shooting is back on tap. Although Kyle Kuzma, I saw the box score, did not have that great of a game shooting. But the Lakers are locked in. Defensively, they have been insane defensively. LeBron James improves to 14-0 in first round, so he can't win in the West. What do I know? I get a little bit of drink aid, right? I do need to buy some. I keep telling you guys I'm going to do so, but yeah. The fact is the Lakers right now look like a championship favorite. We know what the Clippers represent in terms of their bench, in terms of how they've looked all season, talent-wise. I'll get into that in just a few minutes, but Lakers have everything clicking right now. Again, now, of course, they would love to see J.R. Smith play meaningful minutes. He has really good three-point shooting. He can also take things off the dribble. Dion Waiters has been playing pretty well. I think Kyle Kuzma's defense has been underrated as well. But Lakers look to me like a team that's locked in, ready to go. LeBron James, thank you for not canceling the season because that would have been, I don't know what I would have done. Like, well, good, we got this back. We even beat the virus, but no. I'm just excited that the Lakers are playing well, and I am completely biased in this. I will 100% admit it. But I just want you guys to know that Blazers are done. And next up for the Lakers, I'm not sure who they play next, actually. They're going to play the winner of, I believe it's the Rockets and the Thunder. And I'll give it to the Rockets later on. And, of course, the one time my internet is not going to work. There it is. I'm checking it right now. Okay, yeah, Lakers play the winner of the Thunder and the Rockets, and Rockets blew the Saltines out of the Thunder last night. So just letting you guys know that. But no, AD and LeBron have been incredible. Anthony Davis has to be aggressive for all 4 quarters. He showed that yesterday. The game was a little bit too close for comfort, but when you're playing defense like that, it doesn't matter what shots are falling. Okay, you know, guys, like I gotta do a little mic rub it in, right? If I could have a lotion company or Keith's Working Hands or something, I want something called Mike Rub It In, like Mike rubs it in. Okay, so if I can get like a little mom and pop lotion company to sponsor this, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to promote your stuff. Like, it's just like this is whenever like it's kind of like when Colin was right, when Colin was wrong on the herd. I just want you guys to know that I told you so. Well, the Clippers are leading 3-2. That's really fantastic. You see the graphic. What you don't see, and you should have, is what I said. Chemistry is more meaningful than talent. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Chemistry is more meaningful than talent. You can have a Marcus Morris off the bench. You can have JaMychal Green and Reggie Jackson off your role players. Terrence Mann can almost drop a triple-double as like you're a guy who never plays. That's fantastic. How well do you play together? How well do you play together? Because the fact is, hold on, I've got to make my pick real quick, boys and girls. Wow, they took all my players. Because the fact, I just picked up DeAndre Swift in the 8th round. That's terrible. Anyways, as I've told you guys before, and I'll tell you again, this is ridiculous. To assume that the Clippers have suddenly graced the NBA as a favorite is completely stupid. Why? Why do people seem bent on dethroning LeBron James any way they can? Lakers look pretty good right now. Luka Doncic on one leg literally chose not to land on his ankle. Chose not to land on his ankle. He was that hobbled. Kristaps Porzingis was not playing. And the Mavericks got to the rim at will. Luka Doncic stepped back, game-winning three-pointer, bang, bang, according to Mike Breen. 43-point triple-double. Can someone explain to me why the Clippers lost that game and have lost 2 games thus far? Oh, the Mavericks are a good team. You know, baloney. Stop that. If Clippers are as good as we say they are, or as you say they are, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, defense, the best bench in the NBA, they should not lose the game against the Mavericks. I don't care how good the Mavericks are. Because the hype around this team, I'm about to lose my pick. It's ridiculous. Oh, I should have got Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is the guy I'm going to look at, but I'm just letting you guys know. Like for my NFL fantasy, if you guys have not seen the teasers. But I'm going to tell you why the Clippers have lost 2 games. Their chemistry is non-existent. They have a bunch of rough and tough riders. They have a bunch of guys that'll go out and get you 20. They'll lock up on defense. That's fantastic. But can you play together? Yeah, you guys individually look freaking fantastic. You really do. Can you play together? You guys have Doc Rivers as a head coach. Tyronn Lue, who I don't like, but Tyronn Lue is an assistant coach. You look fantastic. But can you play together? I am sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of us always crowning champions before anything is even played or even watching a game. Like, if I had not watched a game this season and I had just watched the news, oh man, the Clippers, they're the cream of the crop and they are untouchable. Luka Doncic, when I say one leg, like a lot of people say, oh, he beat him on one leg. No, I mean this. Luka Doncic had plays in Game 4 where he literally chose not to land on his ankle. He was literally on one leg or one foot. Why? Chemistry is better than talent. Mavericks, one thing they got besides offense is chemistry. Yeah, you can have Seth Curry, Trey Burke, Jalen Brunson playing well at the guard position. But can they play well together? That's the key. Tim Hardaway Jr. Dorian Finney-Smith actually looks pretty good matchup against Kawhi Leonard sometimes. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist hits a few threes. They're willing passers. Not saying the Clippers aren't willing passers, but they make the extra pass for an open shot. They communicate defensively. Or the Clippers communicate. I don't know about that too much. I don't know if Clippers have any communication whatsoever the way they give up shots against the Mavericks. They're all looking at each other like, oh, you got him? You got him? No, nobody's got him. Please do not write off the Clippers as just that they're untouchable. Get out of here. Stop it. You're watching Morning Show with Mike. Good morning with Mike Sitta First. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis. When we come back, do the Heat have a chance of upsetting the Bucks? Round 1 might tell you all you need to know. And Russell Westbrook is the difference, but what do I know? Thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning with Mike Sitta First, presented by DrinkAid. Our topics, per usual, are presented by mybookie.ag. Enter that promo code 12OZSports. You sign up for a chance at a $1,000 deposit bonus match. mybookie.ag and 12 Ounce Sports. You're welcome. The Milwaukee Bucks finally closed out the Orlando Magic 4-1. Nikola Vucevic shot 9 of 25 in what has been a really good series for him. Giannis had, I believe, 28 points, 17 boards, and like 1 assist. So I guess he was attacking all night. The Bucks did what they had to do. They won. But they were not convincing wins. Why did Orlando give Milwaukee so much trouble? Because Giannis is still not the best jump shooter. He can make the occasional three, he can shoot a high 3-point percentage. When push comes to shove and they're daring you to shoot, can you shoot it? Because Giannis gets easily frustrated. He's a killer. He is up there with Russell Westbrook in terms of just attacking every play, every night, every game. But he can get frustrated. He seems to get in foul trouble if you attack him enough. Giannis also seems to lose his cool when he's driving to the rim and guys are going straight up and where's my foul? Not getting back on defense. Giannis is a great player, but can you shoot? And I still do not trust that jump shot. I realized it was 4-1. I told you they did what they had to do, but it didn't look pretty to me. The Miami Heat, on the other hand, swept the Pacers. Now, granted, all those scores were close, but I find solidarity as a Miami Heat fan by realizing that we clamped down the fourth quarter of every single game. We won a game where Jimmy Butler scored 9 points. I'm pretty impressed with that. Meanwhile, the Bucks don't know if they want to play Kyle Korver or Pat Connaughton. Kyle Korver's a good three-point shooter. He's a liability on defense. I firmly believe this Heat-Bucks series is going to be nasty. Tempers could flare. Chris Middleton has to make his shots. He was not very good in the Bucks series. In the Magic series, I mean. He was actually pretty above average. Giannis cannot do it alone, and Giannis needs a jumper, and needs to be even-keeled. I know what you're thinking. I'm about to pick the Miami Heat, and you might be right. Sometimes I make these things on the fly, and this is one of those things where I kind of convince myself as I talk about who I think should win. The sexy pick is the Milwaukee Bucks. But as a Miami Heat fan who understands what we represent and what we do, offensively and defensively, how great of a coach Eric Spoelstra is, I think Heat win. I think Heat win 6, maybe 7. I don't know if Giannis will not be frustrated. The Bucks beat the Heat one time this year. It was in the bubble during the seeding games when both Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, when both Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler sat down. And if you haven't seen the Heat in round 1, you should. Goran Dragic is a huge part of that team. The Miami Heat look impressive. They don't care who scores. They'll lock you down defensively, and they'll make it ugly. But they have talent while doing so. Tyler Hero is one of the most polished rookies you will ever find. He is incredible at decision-making. Bam Adebayo, I'm so glad I jumped on his bandwagon the day we drafted him. He's incredible. The Miami Heat are going to upset the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm not sure there's anything you can do about it. I had to do that. The Oklahoma City Thunder, after surprisingly coming back from 2-0 and tying the series up 2-2, laid an egg in game number 5. The Rockets clamped down and won by 30. James Harden shot 11 of 15 from the field, as you can see from this graphic right here. I'm telling you what, guys. Rockets are a problem. The one glaring aspect to me, of course, to everybody, is the rebounding woes of the Rockets. I don't know if you guys have checked this out or not. Of Steven Adams' 14 rebounds yesterday, 8 of them were offensive. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that's terrible. Like, the Rockets are easily beat by just rebounding. Well, Steven Adams had 8 offensive rebounds and lost by 30. That's insane to me. I don't even know it right now, and this sounds stupid. And you might hold me accountable because this is Mike Said It First and not any wacky talk show. This is not a walkie-talkie show. This is Mike Said It First. I think Rockets could beat the Clippers. I believe the Rockets match up well enough because the Clippers have a lot of stretch bigs, but I don't know if I trust them to outshoot Robert Covington, to outshoot Austin Rivers, to outshoot, well, I never thought I'd say that, but to outshoot Austin Rivers, to outshoot Robert Covington, Ben McLemore, Daniel House Jr., PJ Tucker. I think Rockets could shoot the Clippers out of the building. Who's going to guard Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? I don't know if you have to. Rockets are doing an impressive thing. They shot like 38% from three yesterday. But the best part about it was they took like 48 threes and only made like 19 of them. But still 19 made threes. Yeah, they didn't shoot that great. But 19 made threes. I mean, if you got to take 70 to make 19, I'll take that. Because it gives you all those three-point shots. Rockets are taking full advantage of the rules this year. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump on the West Finals bandwagon yet. But this team looks scary enough to beat the Clippers. I believe so, in a 6 or 7 game series. Now, I know in the last 5 minutes I just said the Bucks would lose to the Heat, and I said the Clippers might lose to the Rockets if they meet up. Problem is the Rockets got to play the Lakers next if they can get through the Thunder, who are a hungry, nasty young team. I don't think Rockets will get a chance to play the Clippers. I think Lakers will pretty much beat them. And the reason I say Lakers are so much better than the Clippers matchup-wise, because of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is literally what you need against the Rockets. Not just an offensive rebounder, a guy who can stretch it like they can. Like, if Anthony Davis was just a back-to-the-basket big, I don't know if the Lakers would beat the Rockets. I really don't. But the fact that Anthony Davis has got an awesome jump shot, they'll be fine. The Clippers, I'm not so sure. I'm just saying. Now, this topic is called Russell Westbrook's impact, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Oh, Mike said it first here. Russell Westbrook is better for James Harden than Chris Paul was. Chris Paul is a classic point guard. Yes, he can push the pace, but he doesn't. Russell, the problem, if the one thing on James Harden's resume so far that people have knocked, it's he ran out of gas. And I don't believe that. But if that is true, if what they are telling me is true, Russell Westbrook takes way more of a load off of James Harden than Chris Paul did. James Harden's shown up in these playoffs so far, albeit against the Thunder. The Thunder have some pretty good guards. They fight defensively. They're not great defensively, but they fight. James Harden has cooked them, flat out cooked them. Russell Westbrook just had his first game back after an injury. Rockets are a scary, scary team. If the Rockets do find a way to beat the Lakers, they will beat the Clippers and go to the NBA Finals. I am that confident in this team. I have been that way for a while now. I've been mocked by Ian McQuiston. You'll see him, Ian, IANMCQ87 on Twitter. He's mocked me saying, oh, well, you thought the Rockets this, that, and the other. Well, yeah, I do. Rockets are that team because they're playing the game how it's supposed to be played in 2020. Coronavirus and all. Russell Westbrook's impact cannot be understated. Yes, the first 4 games it was 2-2, but Westbrook's going to be the difference. He is going to take so much of a load off. He can attack the rim just like James Harden. Chris Paul can attack the rim, but not like that. Everybody knows Russell Westbrook's a different animal when it comes to attacking the rim. We come back. How about a little NFL fantasy? It's 7:30. Hope you're awake.
James A. Paxton here, weekly blog writer and host of The Media's Input, and this is 12 Ounce Sports.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Fantastic. It's all this money, and that's it? We're okay with that? No. Baloney. I'm going to tell you what I think should happen.
The one, the only king on the ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 7.
We talk about this every single week. Every single week somebody else is up for the document.
Everyone, two talking minors. We're getting new at this thing. Great start to the show, everybody.
I'm going to give you all 30 seconds to make sure you get your popcorn and your soda can.
Welcome in live to the 12 Ounce Sports Studios.
World Hockey Report live comes here on 12 Ounce Sports. Cody Jansen with you, joined with Cam
It's
Jansen.
the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper. And I got the Anglers, the primetime Anglers on 12 Ounce Sports.
Smarter by watching the Captain Lou Extravaganza live every Tuesday night at 8 on the 12 Ounce Sports Network.
For the marching exercise, you want to sit down in the center front of your chair, bring your feet shoulder width apart, and form a 90-degree angle with your knees. From here, you're going to lift one foot and raise the opposite arm, just as you march in place in your chair. Make sure you keep that core nice and tight and you breathe into it, and also maintain good posture with a straight back.
Before we get to our final topic, this is a reminder that 12 Ounce Sports is live on Zingo TV, channel 761. And of course on 12 Ounce Sports Live via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We got you covered. Here's our show recap presented by 12OunceSportsNetwork.com/Amazon. It costs you nothing to go to this website and click on that, because that way we can get notified that you're watching and you go straight to your Amazon like normal. It costs you nothing. It takes no time. 12sportsnetwork.com/Amazon. Let Amazon know that you're listening to us and going to their website through us. Doesn't cost you any extra time, costs you nothing. Nothing, baby. But here is our recap. LeBron and AD are pretty much locked in. They have destroyed in the NBA playoffs so far. They closed out the Blazers, and LeBron is now 14-0 in first rounds. But he can't win in the West. Luka Doncic has been sensational. Sensational against the Clippers. And this has shown to me what I said last week. Chemistry over talent. The Miami Heat are going to beat the Bucks in 6, maybe 7 games. I said it first, and if I didn't, the Rockets beat the Thunder yesterday. The Russell Westbrook's impact cannot be understated as we keep going forward in these playoffs. Rockets could beat the Clippers. The problem is they play the Lakers next, barring an OKC setback or send home. And now it's time for some NFL fantasy. Okay. So, I to start the show, I was on Yahoo Fantasy. I mean, it's whatever fantasy. I'm just saying. I was on NFL Fantasy, and I was doing another mock draft. And I want to give you guys some players that I'm looking at that you may not have thought about. I want to say this. The quarterbacks I'm looking at. Yes, of course, Patrick Mahomes is a great pick. My first prediction of the year, I've said this before, Lamar Jackson could win back-to-back MVPs. The offense is set up for him. And now he got J.K. Dobbins to go along with Mark Ingram Mark Andrews is an incredible tight end. Marquise Hollywood Brown is another guy I would pick up in fantasy. Ravens are going to look good. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, 3 guys you have to look at if you're an NFL fantasy player. In terms of quarterbacks, more so, Dak Prescott is going to have a big year. I don't care if they go 7-9 this year. They're going to need Dak Prescott to put up big numbers. And he will put up big numbers because it's impossible not to in that offense. I also believe it'll open up the door more for Ezekiel Elliott. Although I would not draft him. He kind of burst my bubble last year. Another player I would pick up in terms of quarterbacks is Kyler Murray. He's a sneaky good quarterback, man. That dude's going to be good for a long time. And Kyler Murray showed last year in his rookie year, he'll be just fine in the NFL. He looked incredible in his first year, and I believe he's going to have a big season. Other tight ends I would take besides Mark Andrews, by the way, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, obviously. And George Kittle's going to have a big-time fantasy year, probably bigger than his previous years. I would not touch Rob Gronkowski. I don't care what anybody says. I would pick up O.J. Howard, if anything, from the Buccaneers. In terms of running backs, there's quite a few of them. Leonard Fournette, because what do the Jaguars have to offer besides Leonard Fournette and DJ Chark? You've got Alvin Kamara, who's going to have an even bigger workload this year, and is finally not injured. Speaking of finally not injured, Saquon Barkley is going to be huge for the Giants this year. I'm a Daniel Jones guy, but he needs Saquon Barkley to go off in order to have success with that team. Another running back I like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Super Bowl MVP, Damian Williams, let me lie. The person who almost was the Super Bowl MVP, Damian Williams, has opted out of the NFL season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie from LSU, is going to be just fine in Kansas City. Dual threat back. He saved the championship for Joe Burrow. I'm sorry. Another guy to expect great things from. How about Cam Akers from Florida State? He should be running back number 1 for the Los Angeles Rams. Melvin Gordon should have a lot of red zone touches for the Broncos. In terms of defenses, please pick up the Steelers. They're my pick for defense all year long. Steelers and also Chiefs, because Chiefs defense looked incredible last year late. And I do believe they're up by 20-plus points. In a lot of games, they're going to get a lot of turnovers. In terms of wide receivers as well, Darius Slayton from the Giants was incredible last year. He'll be incredible again. DK Metcalf is going to shine this year for the Seahawks. I always said Hollywood Brown. You like the Chiefs, you like Patrick Mahomes, you like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Travis Kelce. How about another one for you? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is going to be sensational this year. That dude has improved every single year. He'll be good again. You're in PPR. I believe Michael Thomas will take no steps back. He might have a little bit less catches, but he'll be fine this year. Juju Smith-Schuster of the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be good this year as well. Why? Big Ben is back. And that's the guy that was throwing to him when he was playing well. Adam Thielen of the Minnesota Vikings will be just fine because of Stephon Diggs' departure. Also, Cooper Kupp, the Los Angeles Rams. Mic drop. See, I just rattled all those names off the top of my head. I thought I was going to forget some, but I think I did pretty good. I don't think I forgot anybody that I've been targeting this year in fantasy a lot. Like the Cam Akers pick, the Steelers defensive pick, Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf. Those are names that are good, but they're not huge, and you can steal those guys pretty early, like pretty late. Okay, let's run through some more topics before we end it. It's 7:40. By the way, easy like Sunday morning. I'm doing like another show recap presented by FallenSportsNetwork.com/Amazon, which literally costs you nothing. It just helps us out, and you can get your Amazon stuff like you normally do. What do I know? So again, Lakers did close out the Blazers. Shout out Carmelo Anthony for being good. I'm excited to see what he can do next year. He silenced a lot of doubters. LeBron James is locked in, and it's kind of scary. Like, the man has had 30-plus points in playoff games in 3 straight games. But I'm telling you, he looks good. Luka Doncic proved to me that he's going to be great, and that chemistry beats talent in today's NBA. Heat will beat the Bucks in 6 or 7. You're welcome. Russell Westbrook's impact is so good for the Rockets. And yesterday proved that once again. James Harden has been exceptional in the playoffs so far. If fatigue is his thing, guess what? And do not forget about the NFL fantasy sleeper picks that I have for you. Adam Thielen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Saquon Barkley, of course, is a high pick. Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Pittsburgh Steelers defense, DK Metcalf. It's going to be a good year. Shout out to Major League Baseball for getting a bubble. And until I see you guys next time, have a good one.